Hello, I am Jason, and welcome to a very special episode of Historically Marked. This is a National Road episode, but this is also the first episode where I actually chat and interview with somebody who knows so much more about the local history of this National Road. She's going to say so much interesting stuff, and I can't wait for you guys to hear it. So, without further ado, I'll go ahead and take you there. This here is the National Road Interpretive Center. We're going to go in and check out the place. Oh, wait. There is a historical marker here. I'm going to go ahead and show that to you. Doesn't look like there's any brochures in here. But this is the National Road Interpretive Center, and this is the only museum in Illinois dedicated to the National Road. But there was one in Marshall, Illinois, which I went to last year. I mean, I didn't go inside there, but it was a welcome center. It was in the Harlan Hall, but it was closed. So, but this talks more about the plan behind the National Road. It is also known as the Cumberland Road or the National Pike. And so talks about Illinois' the state's population jumped from 157,000 to 476,000 in 10 years during the 1830s. So the 1830s were a remarkable decade for the state of Illinois because of the road. And down here is the map. I know you've seen this in all my other videos, but I'm going to go ahead and show it to you again. This is a timeline where President Jefferson signs legislation creating a national road. And this is the timeline, or I'm sorry, this is the road in Illinois where I started in East St. Louis. Just going all the way. I am here in Vandalia. And then Effingham and to the Indiana border. And this here is Illinois. I'm right here. Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. And that's where it ended. And these are the historic figures behind the National Road. That's Jefferson. That's Washington.
That's Washington.
Okay.
He wanted a road. He never got one.
Not when he was alive, at least.
Right. Then Jefferson was told when he came back from making the Louisiana Purchase that Great Britain was trying to get the land that you and I refer to as Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
And Russia was trying to get California. And so he said, it's time. We've got to move the people off of the East Coast and get them all across the country. So he said, we've got to have a road. Went to Congress. Congress agreed, and he signed the bill on March the 29th of 1806.
Gotcha, okay.
Then he said to Albert Gallatin, who was his Secretary of the Treasury, you build the road. And Gallatin said, what with? We don't have any money. You just spent it all making the Louisiana Purchase. And Jefferson said, I said build the road. Then Gallatin remembered that if you became a state, you gave up all of your empty land, and it became federal land.
Yep.
And Ohio had become a state just 3 years before.
Okay, yeah.
And the federal government literally owned the extra lands in Ohio. So he went to work selling land in Ohio for the federal government, and that's how he made the money to build the National Road.
Oh, neat. Now here's the parts where it gets all confusing. So they wanted to expand it all the way to East St. Louis, and then, Illinois wanted to end it in Alton, but the U.S. government wanted to put it in East St. Louis, but instead it stopped here.
No, not quite.
Really? Okay.
Close, but not quite. Okay, the original bill said that, we're mentioned actually in the bill.
Vandalia?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it said from here the road was to go between St. Louis and the mouth of the Illinois River, which put it right in the middle.
Okay.
And By this time, they had given the road to the states.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Illinois said, that's dumb. Really dumb. Why do we want a third road in the middle? We've got a good road to St. Louis. We've got a good road to Alton, the
Okay.
mouth. Why do we need one in the middle? And they discussed it and discussed it. And this is Henry Clay,
Okay.
senator from Kentucky. And he was very much in favor of the National Road. And every time they went to Congress and said, we need money, Henry Clay jumped up and became the cheerleader and said, be sure you vote yes. Well, he's here with all this mess, trying to decide what to do, and he finally said, oh, forget it. He said, we don't have enough money to waste time arguing about this. Let's take what little money we have left, give it to the railroads and the canals, and forget the road.
Okay.
You see, he used the road from Washington to Kentucky.
Ah.
But he didn't have to have it out here.
Well, wow, that's a lot of hidden history there.
They understood politics even back then.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what happened here. And then in 1910, the federal government passed another bill from the original. I mean, they were digging down and making a foot down into the ground to build the road. They really were working on it. But in 1910, they passed a law that said, we will build the old National Trails Road. We will take the existing roads and bridges and whatever from Vandalia to the Pacific Ocean. And then we'll put the National Road and the old National Trails Road together, make one road, and finally have our road across the nation.
Nice.
And that's what they did.
Oh, good.
So finally got it. And then in 1926, they numbered the federal highways, and it became 40.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you is like, because now, what about the Santa Fe Trail? Now, do they count that as a national road, or are we talking about?
There is a piece of the Santa Fe. See, we were already out there.
Oh, okay.
But Santa Fe took part of us and added to them. We were still the oldest road out there.
Yeah.
Anywhere for that matter. And we have lost pieces hither, thither, and yon. You try to go from here to Missouri and get through this metro area in Illinois, and you'll probably get lost. I had a lady call me from St. Louis last week, and she wanted to know how you got from St. Louis over here. And I said, well, I believe that if you take the Eads Bridge, because that was part of the National Road.
Yes.
Take the Eads Bridge across the Mississippi, keep watching for the signs. You're more likely to pick them up in that direction than you are any other way.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've moved the road everywhere in that area.
Just like Route 66, like there's no real one alignment to take you through there.
No, not there. Nope, those communities moved the road as much as they wanted to.
The water tower, I'm sorry, well, the Catsup Bottle Water Tower isn't on the National Road, or was it?
Well, no. But we claim it because it's in the town.
Yeah.
66 claims it because it's in the town.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people get confused.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
but there again, 66 came down and picked up the road. Handy. Already there, didn't have to build it.
Oh, okay. And this is a replica of a kiosk, which we'll visit.
There are 20 kiosks along the National Road in Illinois. Each one of those communities has one.
This is the Lincoln Room, and Lincoln did have a lot of history on the National Road. This here is the media room where people can, of course, look at photos and watch video. And this here is the Eads Bridge where I started that first National Road video. And this is just a little peek inside the museum here. All right, so here is a map of all the Madonnas of the trail, and this is the one I'm visiting. And so outside the Interpretive Center, you can probably see that big building. That was the second state capital of Illinois. Abraham Lincoln, of course, made a lot of appearances there. And there's a lot of connections with Abraham Lincoln in this town. And this right here is Vandalia City Hall. And that road, which is that way, that's Gallatin Street. That was named after Thomas Jefferson's Secretary of Treasury, who played a lot of important roles with the National Road. So you can tell a lot of these buildings date back to the late 19th century, just judging by the architecture. Like that one, very magnificent, 1891, 1893. And here is that kiosk. So here is, I know this kind of reminds you of the Boys to Men song, but end of the road. And it was the end of the road. So 1828, the goal was to put all the way from Indiana to here in Vandalia, because at the time Vandalia was the Illinois state capital. And then this is where politics comes in. 1840, the road was unfinished in Illinois, and a lot of political disagreements over funding and federal ownership dogged the National Road from day one. And so the U.S. Senate voted against further funding. But it wouldn't end here. In 1843, in continuation, the Illinois General Assembly authorized counties to repair and preserve the National Road. And so they ultimately extended the road to East St. Louis, or at the Mississippi River. But it wasn't until 3 decades later when the Eads Bridge was completed, and that marked the literal end. And then in 1926, as she was saying, the National Road became part of US 40, because at that time, in 1926, that's when the US government, when highways were in their infancy still because of automobiles and all that, and state-by-state traffic, interstate traffic, I mean, they wanted to number them so they could better identify them by number rather than by name. And then it says here, Vandalia resident Colonel William C. Greenup was the first superintendent of construction for the National Road. Greenup, of course, the town of Greenup was named after him. And then here's that sidebar where it talks about the road that built the nation. I know it's the same thing you see on the others. And I figure while I'm here, I might as well just walk a little up the road and get a little view of the Illinois State Historic Site. It is now called the Vandalia State House. And there's a lot of historical markers here, but I want to save those for another episode. Same goes for the Madonna, the trail. This is one of those Daughters of the American Revolution ones. Now there are only 12 of these throughout the United States, and this is the only one that's in Illinois. There's one in California, and there's also one in Maryland. So it's pretty cool how this is coolly placed here in Vandalia, and fittingly, because yes, these are all on national trails, including the National Road. All right, thank you so much. I am Jason. This is a National Road episode of Historically Marked. This is the first one that I did an interview with somebody who had a lot of knowledge about the historical thing I was profiling in an episode. So it was definitely fun to do, fun to chat with her. And so I am in Vandalia, Illinois, outside the state capital, the former state capital, and the Mother Madonna of the Trail. All right, I am Jason, signing off.